On YouTube.
That's bambooable. That's bamboo HR.
Okay, you got this.
Hold on, we're testing it out on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen.
Honey, relax. It's Miralax. It works with the water in your body to hydrate and soften for gentle birth.
Welcome.
Relax.
We're giving it a go on YouTube. Let's see. Let's see what. There's a new video out circulating. It's titled Full Leak Turning Point USA Zoom Call of Erika Kirk talking to staff just 5 days after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Candace Owens shared very strange Zoom call of Erika Kirk telling people everyone grieves differently. All right, so I don't know if you've all seen this. Can you see that? Yes. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but...
Sorry, this is a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet!
What's up, Eugene? Can you hear me? I'm checking out. I'm trying my YouTube thing.
Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to say first
Can
and
you-
foremost, my
You can
heart
hear me.
obviously is broken.
What's going
for
on?
You guys, as much as it is for our family, you guys.
Okay,
lost
okay,
not
we're getting a
only
little
us,
action over
but
here. Yeah, it's
someone
me.
that you looked up to, someone that you believed in
What
his
are you-
mission.
what are you up
that
to?
You also.
You know, you be on in the comment section, you know, going hard talking about you handsome and whatnot.
Hearing his wisdom on things. I'm sure some of you have also had very personal moments of where you sat down and
Hi, April. How are you?
had private conversations.
Yeah, go ahead. Then make sure. I don't know. It has like an angle, and it's handsomeism. Hold on, hold on. And it's handsomeism. Oh, you were already on YouTube. Oh, okay. What were you doing on YouTube? Nobody knows who you are, Eugene. So if I were you, I would totally relax. Zena, good morning, or not good morning. See, I'm used to it being in the morning time, but hello, Zena. Nice to see you. I'm over here on YouTube, you know. I figured I need to come on over here just in case. All right, just in case. You never know what those folks on TikTok are going to do. And Eugene, I don't know where you're getting this lie at that you're handsome, but you gotta knock it off. I don't know who you've been hanging out with, but you know, there's a saying, somebody done told you wrong. What are you all up to? If ICE ever turn up on my neighborhood, you're gonna straight lock your door and close your window and shut the curtains. Well, you know, one thing you got to say about ICE is these people are dangerous and they will do anything they can to bring harm to you. So I just tell people to be careful out there. All right, but whatever you do, be safe with them because they're not playing by the rules. You know that. You watch all my videos on YouTube. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, yeah, ICE is very dangerous. TikTok, yeah, they're doing me wrong, but you know what? They do me wrong, but they're not going to stop me. You know, I get it. They don't like hearing, I would argue, a handsome brother like me say things that, you know, challenge the way that they look at life, you know. So it is what it is. But, you know, with people like you, I'm going to keep going, you know. No one can stop me. You know, you can't keep a good brother down, you know. You love ICE? Jordan, what do you love about ICE? What do you love about ICE? Have you ever been detained by ICE? Do you know anyone that works for ICE, Jordan? Or are you just in here trolling? W Zeus, yes. Oh, then why would you say you love ICE? What is there to love about it? You like watching them harm people? He's trolling. Looking for something to do? Fair enough. I am the most handsome. Thank you, Zena. Yeah, well, you got to get better at that. Wait, they are people. I didn't know that. Yeah, he's trolling. Yeah, when midterms come, it's going to be hell to pay on earth. Trust me, a lot of people are in for a rude awakening, especially on the right. They harm people. I didn't know that. Yes, you did, Jordan. How old are you? Don't come onto this live channel and start spreading lies. Are you from man? What difference does it make? Look at all these interesting people. These, YouTube is way more, way more MAGA territory. I get it. All right, but oh, you're 59. Jordan, you're 59 years old. What part of the country are you in? Are you in the United States? Yeah, you got to keep working it. We'll keep working it. Right now, this is day one. I'm outside of the Thunderdome. When you're outside of the Thunderdome, things are a little different. Jordan should know better. Yeah. Oh. Jordan, you got mom jokes, huh? And you're 59 years old. Are you sure? Jordan, you have to be. I mean, these are some of the most miserable people on the internet. Yeah, it is an extension of the Thunderdome. Why are Trump voters so angry? Why is MAGA so angry when they claim they're winning all the time? You would think that people that their daddy is in the White House and they got all three branches of the government. You would think these people are a lot happier. You watched ICE get a couple of kids. It's so hard to watch. You just cried. Yeah. It is sad, and it's sad that we have to go through this as a country. It's a lesson we all should have already known. But I really do believe a lot of people got too caught up in, going to the movies, being entertained, and a lot of this stuff we're seeing happening right now, they thought it could never happen. But it's a reminder of how fragile democracy really is. So, I just say keep speaking up wherever you're at. And when you see people doing things, try to be the voice of reason. But if they don't want to listen, then, what they say, a hard head makes for a soft, what? Yeah. What is a ice age? Jordan, why don't you go and do something with your life besides try to come around me? I can just tell you're a terrible person, Jordan. I can just tell. Yeah. And you know what, Jordan, I could be meaner, I could be meaner on YouTube, but we'll see how this goes. Depends on whatever you say. I actually like it a lot better, though, a little bit, because, actually, you don't hit, it's just me reading the comments right now as opposed to, actually listening. Jordan, Grinder is up. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you should apologize. Yeah. Jordan, did you vote for Donald Trump? Did you vote for Donald Trump? And Eugene, do you think that Kristi Noem is going to get canned? Oh, okay. What part of the world are you in, Jordan? Are you in the United States? Yeah, YouTube is, you gotta wait for people to put stuff in the comment. What part of the United States? You think she's going to get let go, huh? Well, they're throwing each other under the bus right now, which is amazing, right? It's like back in the day, when you do things and you get in trouble with people, Florida, oh, are you a Republican? When you do things with people, and especially if they're like your friends, every time something goes down, everybody starts telling on each other. So we've seen this coming a mile away. That's why I said, this administration, when you look at it, I was thinking to myself, I said, who in their right mind would work for Donald Trump? Let's just start there. I personally wouldn't. If you care about your future, your reputation, your family and your friends, and your brain still works, there's no way you could you could go work for that guy. So, and it's sad or it's not sad, but it's the irony is, you hear Pete Hegseth running around there talking about ethos and merit, right? He's talking about ethos and merit as if he has those things. No, Pete, the only reason you are in that position is because I'm pretty sure anybody else qualified to do the job said, not under Donald Trump, I refuse to do it. So that's what that is. And the Republicans got themselves in this predicament. They wanted to be in power so bad, And the only way they could get into power, if you think about it, was with Donald Trump. That's the only way they could have won is with Trump. And so they hitched their wagon to this guy, and now they're paying the price. Yeah, so if the election is fair and square come midterms, these folks are in deep, deep trouble. If I were an ICE agent right now, I would resign. I would literally risk being unemployed, and I would go through that than to know or even be thinking in the back of my mind, like, maybe I'm not going to get caught now, but years down the road, I might end up being indicted for the stuff that I'm doing. There's just no way I would do that. So if you are an ICE agent, that is something you should keep in mind. NRA spoke out. Now the Trump regime is scrambling to fix the damage. Yeah, because they see it for what it is. You can't. The big issue with this whole thing is everybody knows the government is lying. And it's serious because someone lost their life, right? And so, you're going to say what you say. Oh, he shouldn't have showed up there with a pew with a gun. Look at that. I'm thinking I'm on TikTok. The NRA is saying, not so fast. Because now you're talking about the money we're making, right? And they're not going to let that slide. Not for something like that. Nope. Yeah. So, and who knows? Who knows how this is all going to pan out, if you ask me. But I do personally, believe that Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, who else? Greg Bavino, those characters, I do believe they're going to have to pay the ultimate price and get the ultimate MAGA reward. It was his legal firearm in Minnesota is open to carry. Yeah, and now they're playing. Are you seeing this video? They're circulating right now. Somebody sent me this video of him, 11 days, Alex Pretti, 11 days before he was killed. Somebody sent me a video showing that, and I watched the video, right? I could go watch the video. You should go watch it, where he had a run-in with law enforcement. Let me see if I can find this video. I mean, and again, I get bombarded, ladies and gentlemen. I get bombarded with Trump voters, Trump supporters constantly all day long, whether it's through social media or people I know, always going after me because, they really do think that I spew propaganda. They think I spew hatred. So yeah,
the BBC,
in this video,
showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol.
He kicks out the tail light of the ICE vehicle. Now that's bad.
The footage was analyzed by the BBC.
So he did. This is 11 days ago. He did kick the tail light out of. He did kick the tail light out of the ICE patrol or Border Patrol's vehicle. So under normal circumstances, you know what I say? Then he should have been arrested. But they didn't do that. So you can't go after somebody for something that they did, no one knows anything about, and then 11 days later think that, you know what? This justifies us eliminating. You can't do that. But this is what they sent me. So I watched this video.
Facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of
So they
accuracy.
confirmed him with the facial recognition technology.
The morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis.
Okay.
We arrived around 10:15 a.m.
Okay.
We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles.
Yeah, I'm watching
When they
this.
started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground.
So I'm gonna just say that would have been, if you did it at that moment, then I think you would have probably had a better chance of trying to say you felt a certain type of way, but they didn't do it then, so I don't even want to see this as far as I'm concerned.
This is
what did they say? Oh, he was just a protester. Lies. He was a deranged lunatic. And they said, this is what they're saying to me. Your liberal narrative is destroyed. Stop spreading lies. He was deranged. Looking for an altercation. He's extremely violent. I mean, when they start saying stuff like that, you just send them right back to January 6th. All right. but we resisting together and working together, and we'll survive this. Yes, Miss Rose, we will. How sure are we that it wasn't an AI and FI? Well, that's the excuses that they use. I get it, but to me, it looks real. It literally has no bearing on what happened. I agree. It has nothing to do with what happened on that day where we all watched him. The bigger issue still is the government lied about it. If it was all tied to that, then they should have never ever made a statement. They should have never ever made those statements they made about him without having all of this information coming out and actually going through the whole process of doing an investigation. So, they're just doing everything they can to smear him. When you want to say, what did they say? That he was deranged. And I said, well, who else is deranged according to MAGA? Jack Smith, right? They say Jack Smith is deranged. Have you seen Jack Smith do anything like that? Yeah, has anyone seen Jack Smith do anything like that? So you just can't be throwing around words like deranged to describe it. And to be honest with you, what do you expect at this moment when people have been watching their city get terrorized? What do you expect people to do? Makes no sense. I mean, like I said, if he did something wrong, at best, you arrest. At best, you arrest them when they do something wrong. You don't have the right to eliminate these people just because they hurt your little feelings. And they continue to lie about it. If this is what they do in front of our faces, what is happening behind the walls and barred windows? Yeah, we have to get everyone out of the detention centers. Yeah, Miss Rose, that's what I was saying. If this is what we're seeing, imagine what we're not seeing, right? And it definitely should make everyone even more concerned. I really do believe that. Especially the so-called Christians. Where are they at? Have you seen any of those so-called Christians showing any kind of compassion towards what's been going on? Other than, no, they're not doing that. They're actually demonizing people. The video actually made their case worse, proving it was more about revenge. Jeremy? Yep. This is what happens when you put a bunch of untrained people on the streets of America with guns. There's a video I remember watching. They gave a bunch of monkeys guns. Did you see this video? They gave the monkeys guns, and what did the monkeys do? They just started randomly shooting. That's what it is when you give untrained people firearms, and then you tell them, now you go out here and do whatever. They can't handle that. They're crying because people are calling them names. When I saw that, I said, what? Well, if you don't want anyone calling you names, then you know what? Stay at home. Right? These are the people who brand themselves as being alphas. You talk to them. Oh, what is a woman? They throw all these things out to try to make themselves seem real intelligent, real smart, real strong. But when they get out here in the streets of America, all of that disappears. Yeah. Don't want to be called a Nazi? Don't be a Nazi. Yeah. They beta. Yeah. Like I said, what person in their right mind that actually cares about themselves would go out here and do these things on behalf of Donald Trump? Donald Trump is only loyal to himself at best. So you don't have it already understood that if you do anything, you're on your own yet? That's the part that blows my mind. Everybody working for Donald Trump should know what? That if anything happens, you're on your own. And even if nothing happens, if Donald Trump needs someone to save his butt and you are that person, you're out of here. I don't know what else to say to you. So why sign up? Do you think you're going to be the special one? You're going to be the special one? And let me go back to what they were saying. So, after that, then Andrew Schultz, I don't know if you know who Andrew Schultz is, but all of a sudden, he helped Donald Trump get elected, right? He helped him. These people helped him get elected. But he says this.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Let's talk about what happened in Minneapolis. ICE murdered an American citizen in cold blood, and then the Trump administration called him a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like plain and simple.
Yeah.
I see the administration trying to spin it, and it's fucking disgusting. It's like they didn't even have a moment where they're like, hey, we're reviewing the footage. We're going to try to see what's really happening. All of them, Trump and all the cronies, put out collective statements that immediately blamed an American citizen that was exercising his First and Second Amendment rights. Right? He has the right to protest. He has the right to carry a firearm. He's a legal gun owner, right? There's no question about this whatsoever. And the administration immediately comes out and they try to gaslight the public, which you cannot do when we have 15 different videos of what happened.
Right.
And
That is what they do, though.
but that is what they do.
Yeah.
And I think that governments have probably been doing this for centuries, millennia. And now you have a public that is armed with phones and we can see what actually fucking happened. And you're not going to just lie to us, plain.
So, you know, that's Andrew Schultz. Oh my gosh. He's saying something that's obvious, but you think about it and you go, where was this critical mind at when Kamala was running against Donald Trump? Why didn't you vote for Kamala? See, that's the thing. I mean, he's saying the right thing now. And, you know, I don't want to really jump on him, maybe because we got midterms to worry about. But when this is all said and done, yeah, I got a lot of questions, Andrew, because let's just be honest about all of this right now. You're not saying anything to me that I didn't already know, bro. You're not. He's not saying anything to me that I didn't already personally know. All right. And so it's too little, too late. And when you what I look at it is, you know, people, there's no more money in MAGA. That's what's going on right now. That's why I'm starting to see, this is just my opinion, right? That's why you're starting to see a lot of these folks on the right starting to change their tune, right? And it started right after Charlie Kirk. Once Charlie Kirk was killed, right? Where's the grift at with MAGA now? Everything that, you know, it all starting to come crashing down. So, and people all over the country are starting to realize that what Donald Trump is saying isn't true. So you can't get on the internet and start repeating the things that Donald Trump is saying because nobody's supporting you. So what do you got to do if you're a content creator and you're on the right? You have to start switching gears, right? You hate people. You hate people. You hate that he was absolutely necessary for propping him. Yep. It's good to hear him saying this out loud. Yeah. The infighting between Alex Jones and Candace Owens is hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. They created this. They created this environment. And it's if they come out and they say the Democrats were right, then their audiences are going to feel like they've been bamboozled. So they can't do that, right? They got to somehow try to save face. They got to somehow try to maintain some level of credibility. So when I'm hearing them now be critical of Donald Trump and accuse the Trump administration now of lying, you say to yourself, well, you knew he was a liar, right? We had it on record that he lies over and over again. We had this on record, but you didn't do it. You went and voted for him anyway, right? And then, that gets you into the whole, why couldn't you vote for Kamala Harris conversation? And they don't want to really deal with that. But that's really what this is about. Because they did not want to vote for Kamala Harris, they chose to put this guy back in the position of power and roll the dice on him. And now look at what we got. In order to save his bag, he has to get out here and criticize Donald Trump, at least to keep the likes and the views up. I see it for what it is. You see it for what it is. Right? ICE is not popular. Donald Trump is not popular. MAGA is not popular. The grift is basically over. All right. And then, you get into this next thing, and I know we're just trying it out on YouTube, and maybe I'll do more of these quick lives. This one is, well, you saw Nicki Minaj today. I just wanted to say this. You see Nicki Minaj. You see this? Looking like a polar bear. Nicki Minaj literally, ladies and gentlemen, looks like a polar bear. I saw this. Look at this. Does she look like a polar bear?
president in modern history has left our children with nothing.
They say that she got a gold card to avoid being deported today. So another grift, and another slap in the face to MAGA, because why would you allow? It's just a mess. Them two together is clearly trouble. So this is the chaos that has been unleashed in America because MAGA could bring themselves to vote for Kamala Harris, and it shows. So, you saw her video. It's pathetic. Yeah, she'll do anything to stay in the United States, and that's just what that is. It has nothing to do with anything else. She doesn't even mean it. She does not mean this. She's only doing it because she said, "I'll do whatever it takes, Donald." Or, she probably called him daddy, and God knows what she did off camera. I'm just saying, I'll do whatever it takes, to save myself, my family. And I saw that walrus looking, not walrus, but polar bear looking thing she was wearing. I said, what a joke. What a joke. Well, listen, it's been a great check-in, pop on. I did 26 minutes with you all. Wow, that's pretty impressive. All right, well, you know what? We got how many viewers? I think we got up to 20? We'll try this again. Eugene, thank you for rocking out with me. You just went up a little bit with the points in terms of handsomeness, but you got a long way to go. But, that's a huge W, Zeus. Yep. Well, listen, y'all have a great rest of your night, and I'll try this again either maybe Friday, or I would say the weekend, but I usually get up out of here. I usually like to get up out of town on the weekends, and so we'll play it by ear, all right? But I'll see you all tomorrow on the show. Have a good one. W Zeus, thank you. Have a good night. Yes, you too.